Hi Taurus, I'm Anisha. You can write to me at tarotbyanisha@gmail.com. You can also visit my website www.tarotbyanisha.com, and this is your monthly forecast for May 2015. Happy birthday Taurus. It's quite an important month for a lot of you, as we have a full moon, and full moon is normally quite an emotional time. It's really it's a fruition of something. It's something is coming to in completion. So full moons are normally, and during this time you can be making a lot of emotional proclamations. It can be a time where conversations, speech can be quite unrefined. It can be quite raw because it's very emotional, and you could not have had the time to really phrase your words as to, or really articulate yourself. But also full moon speaks about something that has been going in your mind for the longest of time. So it's nothing that's going to really come about very suddenly and you really wake up and say, oh, this is really happening in my life. But full moons really speak about something that now needs to be addressed, or it has now, there's a lot of clarity, or now it has reached a fruition. And for you, the full moon on 3rd is there on a part of your chart that's all about partnership. It's about relationships, and it also speaks about commitment. Now Taurians, for you, this trend has been carrying on for about close to a year, and this has to do about your personal relationships, and there seems to be some amount of a power struggle that has been going on. For a lot of you, and for those of you, irrespective of whether you are a man or a woman, irrespective of that fact, the person who's bringing the bread home, the person who's earning more in the relationship could have been more emotionally manipulative, or you could be, and especially in relationships where things have been strange, you could have been sort of you know it, of course, you know it, but then you could be pressing the buttons more to your advantage in the relationship. Now, again, every time that there is a full moon that highlights, and it's indicating one thing, that you can no longer shy away from things. You can't brush it under the carpet and say that I know it's a bad relationship, but you know what, I have my work and I have my friend circle and I'm able to spend my money, so I really don't need to be looking at this aspect of my life. It's quite alright, it's manageable. The sky is not falling on my head or on his head or on her head. What the full moon does is it just says, that things have reached such a situation, they have reached to a climax point, that if you don't do something about it, that if you really don't take a decision, or if you don't change, if you don't transform, things are just going to be getting, the situation will get out of hand. It can just sort of go in any other direction, your partner may just decide, even though, like I said, you could be the stronger one in the relationship. He or she finally just may decide, what, I've just had it. I really don't need this, and may just decide to break away and walk off and have that clarity with it. You may decide at a certain point, that things really can't be carrying on in this pretense, carrying on the charade of, everything's all right with us, but when you get back home, everybody is quiet and there are no conversations, and you do your thing, I do my thing, and there's, breakfast gets done and everybody goes off to work, and of course there's no violence and no one is saying anything back to anyone, but you know what, the relationship is just not a relationship. So with the full moon, it's a time, Taurans, wherein you need to be striking a balance. You need to be striking a balance with what works and what does not. And the full moon normally does not allow us to shy away from things that, like I said, you can no longer sort of brush it under the carpet and say, you know what, I don't need to be dealing with this. The important thing is that this energy allows you to compromise, it allows you to negotiate. So it's a brilliant time, Taurans, to share things, or rather put them in a perspective. And it doesn't matter, irrespective of the time that you have done it n number of times in the past, and you say, you know what, I've done this so many times and it doesn't work, and I need to be getting out of this, and there's no point, and so on and so forth. Full moon again sort of gives you that opportunity to put things right. It it's sort of putting a full stop and just starting a new chapter again. So do that. Whatever that has happened in the past, put your past hurts on the side if you want to, of course, for those of you who are quite adamant and saying that this is not working, rather than seeking an alternate life outside your marriage, I would say. Take a decision then, then be strong enough, be honest, authentic enough with yourself and take that call and say that I know this is not working and I need to be getting up. So for a lot of you, there is going to be, like I said, it's nothing sudden that all of a sudden that you'll realize that this has been happening in my life, It's something that has been there all along, all throughout for you, and it's just that now there's someone just shining a big torch on your face and saying that deal with it now, you just can't sort of run away from it. Around the 11th, we have the gorgeous, beautiful Venus, and she's entering Cancer, and then she's squaring up with the wild boy Uranus on the 25th. And it's going to be aspecting a part of your chart that has to do with communication. It has to do with travel. So Taurans, a lovely time for all of you to be not just be traveling, but I think a lot of business opportunities during travel. And this has to do with foreign partners as well. This has to do with negotiations. It has to do with effective communication. It has to do with both written as well as it could be that this really you're able to put down a brilliant proposal together and mail it and it's received really well. It also has to do again with conversations during this time. Even staff that is hired proves to be quite valuable. So it's a brilliant time for those of you looking at hiring people. It's a good time to be exchanging ideas, to be able to get your ideas across. A great time for presentation. It's a great time to be going out and meeting clients, and for those of you who have been having tough times with partners, it's a good time. Communication will really come to your. However, since Uranus is there towards the end of the month, try again because it's meeting up with Venus. So unpredictability and romantic alliances, be a little careful, can be very exciting, great chemistry, definitely not something that will last. So don't run out and get the ring and say, yay, I found the person and I need to be getting committed. Wait for that time, let the transit get over before you move on to the... Also, it's not a great time during this time to be getting engaged, getting married, and this is around the 25th that I'm saying anything with romance, and especially it has to do with newer people that you meet. So it can be a really an exciting, an encounter to remember for the rest of your life. Definitely not the marriage, so stay away from that. We have Mars that's going to be entering Gemini, and that's going to be transiting a part of your chart that has to do with your earned income. It has to do with finances. It also has to do with your values. And you're going to be feeling, because Mars is there, so you're going to be feeling quite energetic. You're going to be feeling quite gung-ho about your work. You're going to be going all out, getting deals, spreading your work. And even at work, you're going to be looked upon as this guy or as this person who's like really the go-getter, gets the work done, or she really goes out and cracks deals and is really able to get, or even gets the work done on time. You are going to be looked upon as this really efficient, competent employee. For you personally, you are going to be very ambitious for yourself. You are going to be wanting to move on to the next level of work, and I think your work is also going to be quite exciting. It's going to be bringing a lot of happiness for you. Since, however, Mars is there, try and not be too aggressive. Assertive is fine. Try not to sort of not step on too many toes. And this also speaks about being a little bit too indulgent. So try and not to go a little wild as far as money is concerned. That around the 18th to the 7th, we have Mercury, the planet of communication, technology and transport, and he's going retrograde, and that's a biggie, 3 week of retrograde. So although communication, important work, travel, negotiations should begin before the 18th, extremely important. I know I get a lot of mails from a lot of you asking, how disastrous will it be, and will the sky fall on my head if I were to do? No, nothing dramatic like that would fall. But what happens really with a retrograde, and I've spoken about this in detail, is that we don't always have the complete information during a retrograde. You run out and you buy a big ticket item, and just after the retrograde gets over, guess what? There's a newer version of the same stuff that you bought. So it's advisable to wait, especially during an expensive ticket item, during buying an expensive big ticket item. If you must, of course, we must do things during Mercury retrograde. We all do that, don't we? Ensure that you have your warranties in place. Ensure that you have all your receipts in place. Get your cars checked up. Get your tires checked up. Get it serviced. Avoid buying again as far as new phones are concerned, laptop, anything to do with technology. Ensure that you have all the backups in place as far as your laptops are concerned. There can be some crashes that always happen during a retrograde. Now, any communication that gets done, you have to be doubly careful as far as emails, written or spoken communication is concerned. And because for you, the retrograde is going to be transiting in a part of your chart that has to do with money and your values. The questions that are going to get asked by you is that how it is that you value your money, or is your self-worth related directly with the money? Are you financially comfortable? What is it that you really want financially out of your life? And do you believe that you're worth it? And this is also a time wherein it's a good time to be taking care of your loans, your taxes, mortgages. And if there have been some pending credits that have been there, it's a good time to be taking care of that. And it's just a time wherein, like I said, not a great time to be going wild with money this month, Taurians. So be very careful about where it is that you spend and how it is that you spend, and because you may be needing that money a little bit more during later in the year, and resources could come up short. So be a little careful. So the keywords for you to remember during the retrograde is reevaluate, replenish and restock. It's been fantastic speaking with you, Taurians. Have a brilliant month. A lot of focus on relationships, but then I think a lot of you are quite tuned into that aspect of your life for a while now. Take care, make changes where you're required to be making as far as your relationships are concerned. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'll see you again next month, and thank you so much for watching.